Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And on this 10-minute moan, I'm going to try and cram in two topics. The first topic is the absolute bedlam caused by the cafe in Edinburgh Castle reopening after a refurbishment, and some people just realising that they're totally offended by the name Redcoat and the lunacy behind that. I also want to look at, how did we get here? How did we get into this state as a country where people have got to be fake outraged by anything that's deemed British? Now, so the first part, so this cafe in Edinburgh Castle has somewhere between 10 and 20 years been opened and called the Redcoat Cafe. Now, for those of you who are totally thick, right, and don't understand that the Royal Regiment of Scotland's headquarters are Edinburgh Castle, and for years their ceremonial dress has been, you've guessed it, the red coat. Okay, so this place has been called that in honour of the Scottish regiments whose headquarters are and always have been Edinburgh Castle. So they close, they refurbish, they open it up, look splendid, they go onto social media, they tell the world we're reopening. Cue absolute bedlam by the cybernats. Now, it's no fair just to say the cybernats, actually led by some high-ranking folk within the Scottish National Party, right? They took to Twitter to, describe this as an affront to the nation of Scots. And the pile-on was got so bad that some idiots who were claiming to be doctors with PhDs behind their name were actually saying that we should burn down Edinburgh Castle. Now, you're like, are you kidding me on? Now, then it led to a campaign where they were all taken to review websites to give it a 1-star rating and vow never to return. Now, let me just explain this to you. See, if you're never to return to a place, that would suggest you'd been there before. And if you'd been there before, guess what? It would have been called the Redcoat Cafe, because it's never had another name, right? And I'm like, we're never returning to the Redcoat Cafe. We will never be back. I've got news for you. You've never been in the first place. You would have noticed the name above the door was the same as the name that you're actually going nuts about. Absolute cranks. It's like a Greta Thunberg over fake outrages is taking place over the last 24 hours. These people are absolutely bonkers. And the fact that you've got people within the SNP at the front of the queue, the nuttiness here, tells you all you need to know about the this party. Now, that then gets me. I'm sitting last night watching this all unfold. It's that bad some of the national papers have picked up on it today. Do you know what I mean? This absolute fake outrage over the name, which is actually there to honour Scottish regiments. But it's got this touch of Britishness about it. And you get people even say, they slaughtered us at Culloden. Did they? Aye, they did. Do you understand the statistics of the battle lines at Culloden? It wasn't Scotland versus England or Scotland versus the rest of the UK. It was the Jacobites who were having an uprising. And in both sides, you had Scottish people. Some in red jackets, some without. Right? But don't let that get in the road. But these are the type of people that think Braveheart is a non-fictional documentary, right? They would probably think Mel Gibson was born in Elderslie and became a freedom fighter in his own turn for Scotland. Or cattle rustler, depending on what part of history you want to believe the true story of William Wallace. And these people are insane. So it got me thinking, how did we end up here? Now, I'm 50, right? Nearly 51. In my lifetime, these crackpots have managed to turn a reasonably happy population into polarised people that hate each other. Think about that for a minute. Now, do you want me to explain and give you proof of that? I will. I was born in Linwood. I lived there for about the first 11, 12 years of my life. Nice wee council estate called East Fulton. The remains were full of snotty noses and jelly pieces. Right? Smashing me place. Walked out my house, turned left, and looked slightly to the right was my primary school. Walked out my house, turned left, and looked slightly to my left, my high school. And in between the middle of them, a big thing called the Bing, where we played football, Soji's Dead Man Falls, right? It was heaven on earth to me and hunters like me, okay? Then two things happened, and they were two of the most memorable things of my childhood in Linwood. We had one of the Queen's Jubilees to celebrate and a royal wedding. Charles married Diana. We had street parties. The roads were closed. Everybody in every house done their wee bit to go out and give us all a lovely day. Now, it didn't matter what football team you supported, what church you attended on a Sunday, whether your school started with a saint or not, your primary school that you attended. We were all in it together. When we were all able to celebrate, have a laugh, dads get drunk, mums make full of themselves, having wee competitions to see who could have the best volley vaunts, right, and win the best mon the streets award, right? All that was going on. And they were magical moments. Around about the same time, we were still able to go into our wee house and celebrate and support all together Ali's Tartan Army. Then the biggest bit of anti-English rhetoric you ever got was cheeky songs about Jimmy Hill, right? And a wee bit inside you going, oh, I hope somebody beats the English because I couldn't deal with them winning the World Cup again. That was it, full stop, right? That was it. We were able to celebrate back then the amazing Olympic feats of Alan Wells and Daley Thompson in equal measure. We could equally support Alan Wells when he put a Scotland kit on to run in the Commonwealth Games as we could when Daley Thompson donned a Team GB's kit and went and took the world on at the decathlon. There was no hatred. There was fun. There was jibes. There was nothing more than almost friendly rivalry. And the odd time Scotland would play England, which was yearly back then, I suppose, with the home nations. For the 90 minutes, we all hated the English. That was it. We sang about Jimmy Hill's sexuality and get back to our work on Monday, right? Now, what we've got is neighbour hating neighbour. We've went from celebrating as a whole community, not a divided community, right? Celebrating the Queen's Jubilees and the royal weddings. We went from that in the space of my lifetime to football games chanting Lizzie's in a box when my dear Queen died. How did that happen? How did we let that happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happened. The rise of nationalism. That's how it happened. We went from those days to these days where people can't reopen a cafe without getting threat of petrol bombing it. And we've managed to do that within the scale of my lifetime. That, my friends, is deplorable. There is nothing wrong with being proud Scots. We all were with Ali's Tartan Army, every single last one of us. Proud as punch, right? To now, being so divided that we want to burn down Edinburgh Castle because it has a cafe inside it that you crackpots have decided is somehow anti-Scottish, when it's actually celebrating some of our bravest soldiers in the regiments of Scotland who wore the red coats. That's where the name came from. But you idiots, can you see it that way? You idiots are full of hatred. There is no love, there is no joy. It's just pure hatred. And we're now the Scottish National Party. They're suggesting that the National Party, their name, isn't so great for these days. And some people are thinking they might be looking to rebrand. Well, I've got news for you. Go and do it. And why don't you call yourself the Scottish Republican Party? Or Sinn Féin in brackets Scotland. Because what you have managed to do is turn the clock back the way. And we are going towards the way we used to look at Belfast back in the day. Now, I'm not suggesting we'll start throwing petrol bombs at each other, but the hatred is there. The despising each other is there. You have turned the clock backwards. And you've done what is much to split a country as your friends Sinn Féin, etc. in Northern Ireland. So go and change your name, because it's probably a more descriptive name of what you are. How, in my lifetime, have you managed to destroy this country and have us hate each other? I went from a child in East Fulton and Linwood celebrating with people that they just went to a different school to me. I didn't understand why. I didn't question it. We were all snotty-nosed together up the Bing playing at football, celebrating the Queen's Jubilee, celebrating the royal wedding, putting bunting up without somebody shouting, that's the butcher's apron, that, get that done. You couldn't do it today. You could not do what we done in our childhood today. Because you guys have wrecked a country. You've got us hating each other. And I will never, ever forgive you. And when it, you people genuinely believe Braveheart was a documentary. It wasn't. It was a pile of stuff, facts from history, pulled together to fill a 2-3 hour movie. People in that movie were talking to each other who didn't even live during the same times. That's how much fact was in that. It was a great film, I loved it. Freedom, I'm all for a bit of that. Right? You could not watch that film now without being absolutely cringy and realising how that actually helped you crackpots ruin my country. I used to love these things as a child, and it wasn't because they were, I'm now a unionist and a monarchist. I didn't even know what that meant at the time. It was just fun. Communities having fun together, breaking bread together, kids playing together and having a celebration. And it was a Queen's Jubilee and a royal wedding. And in my lifetime, these have managed to ruin it. I will never forgive you. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Give us a subscription if you can. And most importantly of all, have a great day. Cheery bye now.